Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaimMD here today with the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl Moveset video guide on how to use MILOTIC. There was someone in the comments saying day 6, I think it would have been day 6 today, of how to use MILOTIC guide, so I figured I'd finally get to that. If you guys do enjoy these videos, make sure you leave a like, and also if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I'm on my way to 300,000 subscribers. That's my end of next year goal. I upload 2 to 3 Pokemon videos a day, and a lot of different Pokemon content as well. So if you like Pokemon content, feel free to subscribe. Also, I do have some new merch available, and there is a code New Year's, that gets you 10% off. That ends on the 1st of January at 11:59 p.m. So if you guys want to get it for 10% off, now is the time. But Milotic is a really cool Pokemon. It did get a little bit of a nerf because Toxic's not in the game, and obviously Hidden Power is not in the game either. So pretty big for Milotic, both on the defensive and offensive sets. It doesn't really have as much coverage as it normally did. Also, this Pokemon's a pain to get, man. Like, maybe not this Pokemon, but Feebas. It's one of the biggest pains to get. I always hated how annoying Feebas was, but it was always a really fun little game anyway, if you didn't take it too seriously. But one of the tried and true sets of Milotic is the physically defensive set. Milotic has base 95 HP, base 79 defense, which isn't too much, but with that base 95 HP, it can take hits really well, and obviously its biggest thing is its base 125 special defense. So the first set we have is a physically defensive set. With its ability Marvel skill, whenever this Pokemon is statused, you get a 1.5 times defense boost. So being burnt, being paralyzed, poisoned, it's really nice for Milotic because you're just able to take those physical hits even better. Now that might kind of entice you to use a Flame Orb on this Pokemon, but I just want to be honest with you. I think that taking 6% burn, canceling out what could have been leftovers, even though you do have Recover or Rest if that's something you do like to use on Milotic, I don't think it's worth it. I feel like Milotic, its like biggest thing is it's able to take hits, and leftovers obviously helps with that recovery alongside its reliable recovery and recover. So I do not personally like Flame Orb on Milotic, even if Palmer likes to use something like that. Actually, I don't think he uses that anymore. I think he uses a Spidef Berry or Fizz Def Berry. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a Lum. But I fought him, but I forgot. I just knocked out his Milotic really quickly. But yeah, so this set is max HP, max defense for special defense. Now, I want to also say that depending on the metagame you're playing, whatever is super common, you can try different things. I like physically defensive Milotic because it takes on Guard Chomp, it takes on Gliscor, it takes on Salamence, it takes on Flygon. It doesn't care too much about Scizor either because it can Scald Burn it with that 30% chance. And it's just like, it's really good for those, just for those physical attackers. Like, it can take Banded Waterfalls from Azu really well, take a hit from Infernape if it really needs to. But the moveset is Scald, Recover, and Ice Beam. Those are always going to be on your Milotic set. You always want Ice Beam to be able to hit the dragons and the grass types. You always want Scald because that is your strongest asset. Not only is it a stab water move, but you have a 30% chance to burn whatever is coming in, right? Or whatever is attacking you. Now, your last move is kind of a toss-up of what you think best fits your team. Haze allows you to deal with setup. So Dragonite's for Alligator, you haze it. It can never get a defense drop on you because of sheer force anyway, but Haze is also cool because if somebody does get a special defense drop or a defense drop on you, you can reset that. Also cool for like versus Sticky Web and stuff like that. I do also want to note that on defensive sets, you could run competitive if you really want to. Competitive, if you guys didn't know, is whenever you get a stat drop, you get +2 special attack. So that's pretty nice. I mean, it's really nice for Milotic. I actually have a Wi-Fi battle, which you guys should definitely check out, where Milotic put in a ton of work with a competitive set. So you can easily run that on defensive sets and maybe on Sticky Web teams. That's where you would pair that on your Sticky Web teams, because one thing that people are going to try to do versus your Sticky Web teams is they're going to try and defog them away. So you bring Milotic on the defog, you get +2 special attack. Pretty cool for Milotic. But yeah, Haze is an option. Dragon Tail is your way if you want to just phase somebody out, right? Maybe instead of going for Haze when they're setting up, you want to go for Dragon Tail just to get on out of there. You can eat a hit from Calm Mind or Nasty Plot Alakazam, so you can phase that thing out with Dragon Tail. Or just like you have Milotic out and your opponent has an Infernape, there's a pretty good chance that your opponent is going to switch. So you go for Dragon Tail as Latios comes in or something, and you hit it with a Dragon Tail. You hit it for super effective damage as well as Stealth Rock, and you force it out into something else. Maybe even Infernape, again, giving you the opportunity to go for Scald or Ice Beam or Dragon Tail. Again, Hypnosis is a cool, really a 60% chance move to hit, basically putting your opponent to sleep. It's alright, you do get free turns with Milotic, and because it doesn't have status and Toxic right now, it's not that bad. And then Coil is an option too. Now, you don't have any physical moves, and obviously Coil and Hypnosis are slashed on the same thing. I still like Coil. The main reason being is that you are upping your defense. And like the stronger Milotic gets on its defensive side, the harder it is to knock out. So Coil is definitely a cool option on this too. If you do end up using Coil, you could even use Blizzard over Ice Beam if you really want to. I think you always use Scald. But if you want to be Heat, you could try Blizzard over Ice Beam if you are using Coil on the set. Obviously, Blizzard has the added oomph, so you'll be able to knock out like Special Defensive Gliscor, which can eat an Ice Beam easily from Milotic and roost it off. So the next set we have is Special Defensive Milotic. Now this one is a monster, alright? Choice Specs Latios Thunderbolt only has a 6% chance to 2-hit KO you from full HP. So Milotic on the special defensive side with that base 125 special defense can easily take on Specs Gengar, can easily take on Specs Latios, some of the strongest special attackers in the game. It can easily live Volt Switches and Thunderbolts from Specs Rotom Wash as well, and that's why we do have the Mirror Coat as the last move. Again, Scald, Ice Beam, and Recover are basically always a given on Milotic. On defensive sets, you're always going to want the Scald, Ice Beam, and Recover. Just going Calm Nature on this one, still leftovers. Again, you could still definitely run competitive on this set if you wanted to, but I like Marvel Scale, especially because you're not physically defensive, right? You are special defensive on this set. So having that Marvel Scale, if you get burnt by Rotom's Will-O-Wisp or Thunderwave or Poisoned or whatever, just having that added defense makes you even harder to take down. The cool thing about Mirror Coat as well is you are doing double the damage that the opponent is doing to you. So you are going to be able to knock out Latios after they go for Thunderbolt or after they go for Spectral Meteor. Spectral Meteor barely does 50% to special defensive Milotic. That's how strong this Pokemon is on the special side. And Mirror Coat will knock it back out. Another cool thing about this is that if Manaphy goes for Tail Glow, if you didn't know, gives Manaphy +3 special attack, and then goes for Energy Ball after, you easily tank that, and you knock them out with Mirror Coat after. If defensive Rotoms are going for Volt Switches on you, and they're bringing out something after, whatever's coming in is getting Mirror Coated. So that's why I think that Mirror Coat is absolutely phenomenal on the special defensive set. You could even use it on the physically defensive set too, but I think it's better on the special defensive set just because you eat so many special hits that are coming at Milotic. This one doesn't need as much in terms of like team support. I always love the Fire, Water, Grass Core. I love Infernape. I love Scizor with Milotic, especially because Milotic's just ability to take on Rotom Watch, which is something that Scizor likes, just because Rotom can't knock it out with Thunderbolt, and you knock him back out with a Miracle. If they Volt Switch, you're getting rid of something else. Just being able to take on Heatran for Scizor, being able to take on Gliscor for Infernape and things like that. It just helps Milotic out. So, and they help each other out. The last set we have here is an offensive set, and this is the one I actually featured in that Wi-Fi battle, and this is a competitive set, literally competitive, as the ability, so whenever you get them stat drops, you're really good versus the opponent. And this is Timid Milotic with a Life Orb. Now, Milotic has a really good speed tier with Timid Nature. It is faster than, and I'm going to name just a few Pokemon, a few relevant Pokemon, Timid Heatran, Jolly Mamoswine, Timid Togekiss, Adamant Lucario, Jolly Breloom, and those are just some really relevant speed tiers that Milotic is faster than with a Timid Nature. So it just allows it to outspeed those Pokemon, and it just makes Milotic that much more of a threat. It's also faster than Jolly for Alligator, if that means anything to you guys. But yeah, so this set, you bring it on the opponent going for Defog. You definitely want to pair this one with Sticky Web, Spike support, Sticky Web from Shuckle or Smeargle, Spike support from Cloyster, from Skarmory. Amistar could do it too, doesn't really matter. Toxic Spike support from Drapion. Basically, you want to go for the hazards and have your opponent potentially go for Defog with them, whether it be Defog Gliscor, Defog Scizor. You can bring this thing in on Scizor, especially if you have hazards out, because when you get that +2 special attack, and especially if it's not fully physically defensive Scizor, you are knocking it out with a +2 Life Orb Hydro Pump. So again, Timid, max speed, max special attack. You can still easily switch in on Heatran. You go for Hydro Pumps, Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Recover. They're given. You traded Scald before for a stronger Hydro Pump, but sometimes Hydro Pump can miss. That is why on the last move you can slash Surf or Hypnosis. Surf is nice if you like, let's say you have an Infernape in front of you, or you know Infernape's coming in or whatever, and you don't want to go for a Hydro Pump and potentially miss. You can easily go for the Surf. 100% accurate move, still really strong. Hypnosis is also an option too to potentially give you more opportunities to recover. Recover is great. I mean, this mon still tanks hits, right? It'll still eat a Volt Switch easily from a Rotom, right? Volt Switch from a Rotom is not going to knock out this Milotic. So if you get +2, even things like Rotom are being 2-hit KO by +2 Hydro Pump. But yeah, Dragon Pulse, I guess, could be an option, but the only real Pokemon Dragon Pulse hits that Scald and Ice Beam don't would be like Kingdra for super effective damage, and that doesn't even, like, you would Ice Beam is at +2 is still 2 KO Kingdra, so there's no real point in that. I know some people be like, yo, I like Aqua Ring on my Milotic. I don't think Aqua Ring is that great. Personally, I don't think it really does anything for Milotic. Like, you get the recovery, sure, but leftovers will be doing the exact same thing, and you'll be fine. Never use Life Dew in 66. Excuse me, I was like stuttering, but in 66 because you have recovery, which is better recovery. Coil physical sets might sound pretty enticing with like Coil, Facade, Aqua Tail, Recover, or like Coil, Aqua Tail, Blizzard, Recover type of set. Those sets might seem a little bit enticing, but I don't think that Milotic does that super well. Personally, I think the best thing about Coil is the fact that it gives it a defense raise, not really the accuracy or the attack when it comes to Milotic. But yeah, good partners for this set. Again, Sticky Web users, Spikes users. Madden Zone is always great with Milotic too, just because defensive Milotic, just because it always gets rid of problematic Pokemon like Scizor and Skarmory, always annoying, and appreciates the fact that Milotic switches on Heatran and Fernape and Latios and Gliscor and Garchomp and stuff like that. But overall, very good Pokemon, solid mon. Using it in a Wi-Fi battle, probably be using it in a Showdown Live sometime in the near future as well. Hope you guys all enjoyed. I'll be using Kecleon later today in a Showdown Live, and I'll see you guys. Goodbye, my friends.